to Next Gen 2021, where we announce our top 20 next generation apprentices under 25 years of age. I'm your host, Sandra Rossi, editor of Climate Control News. CCN's Next Generation program is a great opportunity to promote the refrigeration and air conditioning trade. It's also a great way to let everyone know about the great career prospects that exist in the HVAC and art industry. This is our second year of Next Gen, which wouldn't have been possible without the support of the Australian Refrigeration Council, which is the industry's peak body for the HVAC and art sector. So before I announce the top 20, let's hear from the CEO of the Australian Refrigeration Council, Glenn Evans.
Setting new standards is critical in an industry as dynamic as refrigeration and air conditioning. The Australian Refrigeration Council is proud to support CCN, World Skills Australia and Next Gen as important platforms to showcase emerging talent. Importantly, they increase the profile of the sector and promote it as a profession of first choice. The technical nature and environmental impact of the industry are great attractions for modern students. The industry makes a real and positive difference. When you consider that surgical operations can't happen without refrigeration, or that there will be no transport of perishables, you start to realise we'd be in a whole lot of trouble without the men and women of the refrigeration and air conditioning industry. We all have a role to play in the attraction and nurturing of young talent, especially in the blending of enthusiasm with the knowledge and skills of experienced industry professionals. Congratulations to the finals of the competition. We look forward to you shaping the future of the rack industry.
Thank you, Glenn. And now to our top 20, which I shall announce in alphabetical order. Okay, we're going to start with our first. Friggy is a second-year apprentice, and his name is Nathan Aiken, who finished school and went straight into an apprenticeship at Trent Refrigeration. The 20-year-old said his career goal is to be an awesome Friggy and to one day run his own business. Next up is fourth-year apprentice Nicholas Baldy, who actually enjoys the theoretical side of the trade, which is interesting. I haven't heard that before. Our next apprentice is a fourth-year Next Gen apprentice, Dean Bognardo from Queensland. The 20-year-old spent 12 months doing construction work, just casual construction work, before he began his trade, and he's very happy that he did. West Australian apprentice Jared Budney is in the final year of his apprenticeship at AJ Baker and Sons. Jared went to AJ Baker and Sons actually for work experience, and they were so impressed with him that they offered him an apprenticeship. And he's obviously doing very well because he has won Apprentice of the Year for the last 2 years in a row. Okay, next up is Cosmos Chronicus, a fourth-year apprentice from Allianz Refrigeration in Sydney. He is now at the end of his trade and preparing to undertake a diploma in HVAC engineering. The 22-year-old is following in the footsteps of his father, who is a refrigeration engineer. Cosmos said he actually picked up tools as a toddler. Our next one is Dylan Cox, another final year apprentice from Cold Logic in South Australia. The 25-year-old began his career as a light vehicle mechanic, but actually found that quite boring and discovered the rack trade. Next we have a Melbourne-based apprentice, Kai Davies. He says he loves the trade because he learns something new every day. He's another one that did work experience before landing his apprenticeship at SP and R Air Conditioning. Who do we have next? We have Ben Delahunty. He is a 19-year-old who is almost at the end of his apprenticeship as well. He works at Childrite in Sydney. He said he was drawn to the trade because he actually likes problem solving. Next is final year apprentice Norman Furlong from Queensland. He said he likes the independence of the job and being able to move around. He actually started out as a butcher and after 1 year decided that he'd become a Friggy. Our next apprentice is Next Gen apprentice number 11. And this apprentice is from ProTech Air Conditioning. And his name is Pranesh Grounder, who is in the second year of his trade. The 19-year-old went straight from school into his apprenticeship, and he said there's so much to learn that the job never gets boring. And who do we have next? Our next apprentice is Kieran Grimmer, who is a second year Friggy at Big Bear Refrigeration in Sydney. Okay, we are now down to our final 8 apprentices, and they are Queensland-based apprentice Katie Hamill-Lovett. She's in the first year of her apprenticeship with the Woolworths Group. Katie is thriving in her new career and she describes it as amazing. Now, next we have Logan Jankowski. He's a first year apprentice at Commercial Air Conditioning. The 18-year-old knew very little about the trade when he started, but says the job keeps improving and expanding in ways he had never expected. He said the opportunities to learn are endless. We have another apprentice from Bathurst, that's second year tradie, Connor Lavelle, who works at Eltec Air. Okay, now we're down to our final 5, which includes Colin McGilvray. I'll just make sure I got that right. It's Colin McGilvray. And he's a first year apprentice at Woolworths as well, Woolworths in Brisbane. The 20-year-old says the best part of the trade is the variety of work he gets to do. And here's Colin sharing a few words while on the job.
The thing I like most about the trade is probably the variety. You do so many different things, you work with so many different materials and use like so many different tools that it's crazy, but it's good. I like that. I also like the fact that it's challenging. You have to think about things before you do it a lot. So I guess that part intrigues me, and I like to think about things before I do it. It's also like that challenge makes me want to do it more. And you feel more rewarded once you've completed a challenge or once you've done what you have to do. And yeah, you also get a good group of guys that you work with, so it makes it worth it.
Thanks, Colin, that was great. Our next apprentice is also from Brisbane. Stephanie Peters is the first female apprentice to work at Broadcast Services Australia in Queensland. Stephanie actually went straight from school to university to do a combined arts law degree, but ended up leaving uni and discovering the rack trade, and she absolutely loves it. Our next apprentice is Caleb Porras. He's a first year apprentice from High Flow Industries. The 19-year-old said he is currently learning about chillers and enjoying his trade. Our second last apprentice is Vasilius Sakourakis from Amiga Refrigeration. The 24-year-old has just completed his apprenticeship and came first in the regional World Skills competition representing Ultimo TAFE. Well done, Vasilius. And next we've got South Australian technician Raymond Vlist. He's also at the end of his apprenticeship and is preparing to travel around Australia. The 23-year-old said he has always planned to get a trade, so he had the skills to support his travel plans. Well, that's it. That's our top 20 apprentices under 25. Every one of them is a great example of why the rack trade is a great place to be.